welcome to the Weekend Feminist Podcast. And today we'll be talking about gender stereotypes, stereotyping and sexism. We also have our name is Oreoluwa. She's the founder of Herstory.ng, women's rights enthusiast. All right, over to you.
Thank you for having me on the podcast today, IMD. Like IMD has said, my name is Oreoluwa Ojo, the founder of Herstory and a women rights enthusiast. And today we'll be talking about gender stereotypes. I'm so excited to be a part of this. Thank you once more.
Okay, all right. Can you tell us briefly what you understand or what you mean or what you think gender stereotypes or stereotyping means?
Okay, gender stereotypes are generalized views or preconceptions about either the male or the female gender. You know, the general belief that people have regarding a particular gender. For example, they'll say women are weak, or women are emotional, or women are meant to like appear saintly and be good, you know. And then the other for the male gender, they will say men are strong, men are they're not supposed to show emotion, things like that. So these are generalized beliefs about each gender. So that's what gender stereotype is about.
Okay, thank you, Ore. So, Ore, can you share with us your personal experience or something that looks like stereotype that you said somewhere so we can be aware?
Okay, I've obviously encountered a lot of stereotypes. I think everybody has, but the one that stands out the most to me was when I was in my final year in university, and I was contesting for the post of president of my department. And for over a year, I had no contestants, no competition or anything. Only for one guy to just rise up 2 weeks to the election and say, "Why would we allow a female to lead us? Why should we have a female president?" Wow. Something like that, you know. And before we knew what was happening, you know, they already came up with their own male contestants. And believe me,
wow.
They won the election. They won that election.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they did. It was really hurtful. I actually cried on that day when I lost the election, because I felt like, okay, I was not disqualified because maybe I had a bad character or something was wrong with me. Just because I'm female, something I cannot help. You know, so that's an example of stereotype. When they talk about a female president for Nigeria, like that can never happen because, you know, it's a female president. So this is stereotype.
And I'm really rooting for our contestants, the one we have for this 2023 elections.
Of course, I am also rooting for her. The courage alone to stand up against all these men, it's a whole lot.
Exactly. So, can you shed more light on negative impacts of gender stereotypes?
Okay, there's a whole lot talking about negative impacts of gender stereotypes, because the major one is that many times we underestimate women, we undermine their power, their influence, and their ability a lot, and it is how will I say it? It's devastating, because we don't have, like, for instance, talking about the economy now. The economy, the business, and everything in the whole world, it's being dominated by men. Rather, if you want to talk about the 100 most rich people or the Forbes list top 100, you would hardly see a woman there, because everything is dominated.
Even in companies, it's very hard to see.
So it's devastating, because we are yet to really tap into the potential that women have, and we see women doing amazing things. When they are given that opportunity, the ability comes forth, and they do a lot of amazing things. For example, look at Ngozi Oreoluwa. If she did not have the ability, or if she was not given the opportunity, you know, to own her skills and, you know, reach that height that she has reached today, how would we know that she can do as much as she is doing right now? So it's devastating, because there is a lot of untapped potential in women that we've not discovered yet, and this is one of the negative impacts of gender stereotype.
Very much, Ore. That was a beautiful one. Thank you very much. So, Ore, let's move to sexism. Yes, that is my favorite one. sexism. And for me personally, I think sexism is like the root cause of gender inequality worldwide. Do you agree with me, Ore?
Yes, I do. I agree. I do. The thing is, sexism actually. Okay, thank you. Sexism and gender stereotypes are very, very similar. In fact, I would say they are more or less the same, because sexism is like prejudice or discrimination based on a particular gender, and the only reason why you would discriminate is because of the preconceived beliefs that you have about that gender. So that's sexism, when you're discriminating based on gender. And my favorite example of sexism is son preference. When they give birth to 4 girls, they're like, you've not given birth to all your children, it still remains one boy. I mean, you're still going to give birth to a boy. Like, hello, you already have 4 kids and you still want a boy. Why? And this thing is very, very prevalent to the extent that women are suffering in their matrimonial homes just because of this son preference thing. In some areas, especially in this Arabic world and this Indian, Asian countries, they actually like really, really put a lot of pressure on women just to have sons. And if you don't, it's like you failed. It's like you are a total failure in every way, in every part of life. So this is one example of sexism. And then sexism can be institutionalized. It's not just about personal beliefs or prejudice alone. For example, talking about in the world of sports, saying women cannot, it was not 2018 that they just allowed women to be participating in Olympics. You can imagine 2018, how many years ago? It's still very, very much recent. So all this while, it was only males that could participate. Sexism even in government policies, it's a whole lot. Some people would think that these things are not existing, but they are. By the time you face them, by the time you experience them, you know that so something like this actually is. Even in healthcare, that healthcare is a whole lot. Talking about abortion, when you hear some laws guiding this thing, I think I read it this morning on someone's status, how doctors that do the procedure of abortion, they get like 2 years in prison, and for rapists they get like 6 months or something. That's sexism. It's discrimination based on gender. Yes. Even talking about reproductive health, pills. Do you know the effects of pills?
Yeah. It's like a deep-rooted disease in the society.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. Extreme form of misogyny.
Yes, it is.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm here with you.
Oh, do you sexism is the main reason and objectification
of women? Of course, it may not be the main reason, but it is a huge part of it. When we see about women is we see them as sexual objects. We see them as domestic moves and animals and objects. It's I'm just really glad that gradually these views are changing. But when you really, really interrogate some men, some cultures, you see that this thing is still there. It is still there. You just feel like women are lesser. They don't have brain to think for themselves. All they amount to is just for them to cook, to clean, and for them to have children for you. There's a whole lot more than that. Sexism in education, So some people will say that these things are changing, and why are gender advocates focusing more on girls and all of that? You find out that girls, most times, their education is in jeopardy. Let me also share a personal experience about this. When I was in SS1 in secondary school, my brother was in junior, he was in JSS1, he just entered. And this particular year, my father did not have enough to pay our school fees at once. So he paid my brother's own first and left my own outstanding. Unfortunately, my brother had to leave the school before the first term ended. That was when I knew that he had never even paid my own school fees, but he already paid my brother's own. And I was a senior, so you think that at least I'll have a higher priority.
Yeah, again. So it really doesn't matter if you are like senior or if you're older, as long as you're female. That's like a lesser.
As long as you're female. That is it. That is also part of sexism. Let me give you another personal example. One time I was going through my father's documents in his room, and I saw documents with my brother's name on it. He bought shares. he bought properties and all of that. I did not see my name anywhere. It was just my brother's name. And I'm like, okay, I'm the first child, my brother is the second. So I, even as far I'm the first child, I still don't have any kind of, like, my own value is worth less than my brother. Not just because he's a boy or he's a son. You know, these are things that they may seem trivial, but they have a lot of weight. It carries a lot of weight. It's a whole lot. So sexism is not just in a society, maybe catcalling or rape or, you know, mother, gender-based violence and all of that. Even in the little things, they are there. They manifest there. Yeah. Thank you, Ayo.
So let's just say it's more like classification of a particular gender as inferior.
Yes, exactly what it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, how do you think we can curb sexism, gender stereotypes, and stereotypes? Because I feel like sexism here, it primarily affects women and girls. Like I can say gender stereotypes affect both girls. You know, sexism is something that is deep rooted in the lives of women. I mean, like it's something that can murder a woman's confidence. Understand? So tell us, like, how do you think we can deal with it? Like, how do you think we can sexism?
Okay, let me start by saying sexism affects everybody because it's not just one gender we have two. In fact, we even have transgender and then, you know, the LGBTQ plus squad. So because of the preconceived general belief and generalization, they have a particular agenda, you begin to discriminate against them and, you know, say that they can't do certain things. So the way to combat or deal with sexism is through the mindset, because sexism is about people's thoughts, people's beliefs, their ideologies about a particular gender. Sexism, for us to get rid of it, we need to reorientate people, the dangers of it, and then how it affects people negatively. For example, like I mentioned earlier, that we've not tapped into the streets from the females, especially when it comes to leadership, when it comes to business, and when it comes to, you know, being at the top, across different industries. So it is detrimental to our economy. It's detrimental to our political life. It's detrimental to even our religion. You know, in so many ways. So we need to like create more awareness about the side effects or the negative effect of sexism. I'm talking about negative effects. Telling someone that, you know, unwanted sexual advances, all this female genital mutilation, child marriage, is because these people feel like, okay, once you marry, as soon as you start menstruating, you should, you know, get married. And then these girls, they're too young to reproduce, they get pregnant. When they want to have the baby, you know, their internal system is not mature enough to prepare that burden, and then they get terminal illnesses and diseases. You know, we hear different ones. Some that they to pee, have to carry the bag around to pass pee and all of that. A negative impact. You know, when you pee, a female child is just pee in her house. After once you graduate from school, the next thing is house. You don't even need to think about a job. The pressure of the job is more on the male than on the female. It's born from sexism. We found out that this economic impact actually encourages gender-based violence, because women cannot leave those things, because if they leave, they will starve. Like women also starve. So they stay there because they are economically disempowered. It's really, do you understand? So if we take away the discriminatory beliefs and ideologies, what will be to move forward? How you know, they say men should not cry, men should not show emotion, and that the suicide rate of men is very, very high. It's very, 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 very high. This is the negative impact of sexism, because there's this discrimination that men should not be seen showing their side. You should not be seen, showing that they have emotions. So if we can get rid of this mentality, and that's why we're reorienting people and creating more awareness of the dangers of this thing. Over time, I believe that would change their position to these beliefs about both.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ore. So, in a nutshell, you're saying that misogyny in society. The presence of misogyny in societies and cultures often leads to high rates of violence against women and the commodification and objectification of women. Is that what you're saying in a nutshell?
Obviously, misogyny, when you hate women, when it's not, sometimes when people say misogyny, they feel like you hate women and you are showing it blatantly. There's some subtle ways in which misogyny is also. Misogyny, women, discriminating against women, having some negative preconceptions and stereotypes about women, also lead to violence, different forms in the society. Yes to your question.
Okay, thank you very much. So I wanted to ask you earlier on, I wanted us to talk about internalized misogyny, like internalized sexism towards women. Like it happens both between women actually. So I just wanted to talk about it.
Okay, it's just very unfortunate that many of us, including myself, I have that some internalized misogynistic attitude and beliefs that I have that I on a daily basis I try to fight it off and just evolve into being a better version of myself. For example, talking about house chores, there's this feeling like, okay, if you go to a person's house, for example, and the place is messed up, or the person's mother is in the kitchen cooking, you feel uncomfortable sitting down in the sitting room and watching TV or just whiling away the time because you feel like you are meant to be in the kitchen helping out. That's an example of internalized misogyny. Or for example, you are somewhere and then maybe they are cooking. And you feel it for me, I sometimes feel uncomfortable just being idle when someone around me is trying to do something because it has been inbred in
that's maybe injected into the veins or something to always feel like I have to do this, I have to do that.
Yes. So that's one example. Then also talking about purity culture, for example, in the society, people don't really talk about it, but if you are, for example, no longer a virgin and you are discussing whatever, that shame, not shame exactly, but that feeling of me I've been this virgin, though, you will not want to share and stuff like that. It's a whole lot. It's just there are examples of this internalized beliefs and things that we battle with and try to do away with. And also talking about validation from men. For example, you want to be in a relationship, you want to be married, so that you can say that you are responsible.
Nicki Minaj says something. I think I watched the video of Nicki Minaj 2 days ago or 3 days ago. She was like, ever since she has been since when she was 15 years old, she has always been in a relationship all her life. She has been with man until when she was finally single and she was really, really happy. So I feel like young girls, I don't know, they seek validation from the other gender. Why do you think he needs the other gender? We need to really clean up some kind of, I don't know.
Yes, that's all. I'm always happy that feminism is evolving and women are also evolving in their thought process. Because what society teaches you is that if you're not married or if you don't have a man, then there's something wrong with you, or you failed to be and then all you have is a job and a career and you don't have a man and you don't have children, you failed. But thankfully this belief is changing.
What you said just now will bring me to benevolent sexism. Like this benevolent sexism, it's about measuring a woman's value based on her biological roles or as a girlfriend, mother, or wife. Like our life is not even involved about all that. Do you get? Like it's so common among in the society right now. People trying to like measure your value or trying to put you in some kind of motherly figure. Like I don't get, why do we have to always attachment to such things?
Asking, I don't know why. That's how it always been, because it's a man's world, and anything that is, and again, some people's excuses that women are, we're the reproducers of life, we're the one that's carried the baby and all of that, blah 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 blah. So they feel like we should have a more domestic role in society. But like I said, thankfully this belief is changing, and we have more women breaking free from that negative whatever and expectation that because you're a woman, therefore you should be motherly, you should be wifely, she wants to cook, she wants to clean and stuff. It does not come with the gender. It's a personal thing. There's some men that love to cook. I can even cook better than women, or I can even clean and keep house better. I can even take care of babies better than someone else.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I'm just glad that people are...
Okay, wait, sorry, can I just chip in something? Like, do you think such people, or because of such people, then paternity leave should be normalized?
Of course, but not because of such people, because it's not, like I said, it's not everybody. Everybody's not the same, so we cannot generalize. And of those people, then paternity leave should be normalized. Paternity leave should be normalized because a father has a role to play in the life of the child, and is not left to the mother alone. Yes, so that should be the reason why paternity leave should be normalized. Not because some men are domestic in nature, not because of that. It should be a normal. Yes.
Okay. Should be like a formal thing, like a rule, like a policy.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ore. That was beautiful. It was nice having this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
In very sexism, please name it and stop it. It is very wrong. And should not be, should not exist or coexist in a society with us. So thank you very much, Ore. That will be the end.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to joining you again in the session.
All right, Ore. Thank you.